God. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Wait. I see the rocking chair. I saw the rocking chair. It's not rocking. I just saw it move for a second. Oh my god, I saw it move for a second. Oh my god, this is scary. Mommy, don't leave me. He probably is. Wait, oh. That is not a good time. Oh my god. Why?
What do you mean? Want me to pick you up and you can look at me? I don't know. I kind of felt like a shadow, but I can't really see.
Okay, no. I'd rather go to this side of the house.
A figure, but like...
What?
No, come look.
I'm not looking.
What? We just came all the way here.
Wait, no, I'm going back to
Picture in front of that sign?
I already have a picture of it.
In front of the sign?
No, I got a picture of that.
I need a picture of you in front of it.
No, I got a picture of me in front of it. Before. Last time we went here. I could actually see the rocking chair from in here though. And I saw it moving a little bit too.
Oh, what's this?
That's the cellar. The prison's here.
You scared me. Can I help you? No, we were just checking out the house. Thank you.
Oh my god. No. What is that?
There's nothing else to say. Why did you think the prison's here?
Look at the little air vents.
Maybe.
Can we ask if there was like a tour?
No. He works at the law offices. He's a lawyer.
I want to go look back in there. No.
However, if you want to find it, it's very simple. All you have to do is just drive through the village of Barnstable, and the first road on your right-hand side is going to be called Rendezvous Lane. There on the corner of Rendezvous Lane and Kings Highway sits a white building that looks like a church, because for 100 years it was a church. The left-hand portion that faces Rendezvous Lane, that was the King's Courthouse. You actually know you're going to be in front of the right building, because as you pull upon it and right against the King's Road, it's one of those yard ornamental decorative wells that is actually covering the original town well. Town of Barnstable was founded in 1639. The earliest settlements for the town of Barnstable we found up here. The house behind me's foundation and floorboard dates back to the year the town was founded, 1639. This should be considered the oldest residential home here in Barnstable Village. Now I gotta bump you up a couple of years. It's 1776 and the American Revolution has broken out, and only 19 men from the town of Barnstable have gone and fought for the patriotic side, while everyone else has gone and fought for the British. One of the loyalists that's living in this town is a gentleman named Edmund Howes. And Edmund Howes.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I was saying.
I know, right? We had 2 giant moon spiders in the cemetery a couple of weeks ago. When the full moon hit, their webs are this big.
Wow.
One right by desk doorway. Every day I had to jockey people around it because it went from the tree to the ground. Like it.
That's impressive.
It was. I actually got a couple of photos of it. Oh, you walk too fast. I need a longer break than that. I'm not that young anymore. Folks, let's head over to the cemetery.
Oh. Oh, God.
All right, put it in the ground. Put it in there.
Cemetery. Behind you is Cobbs Hill East Cemetery. First burial in either one of these cemeteries on the east side by the church and dates back 1715. Last coffin burial is on the west side, and that's in 1996. And the last urn burial, spring, just a few years ago, directly behind me. To prove that you're a descendant of anybody buried here, they'll gladly bury your urn. There's no more room for coffin burials. As you look around both cemeteries, you notice that there are iron bars surrounding them. Back in the day, they said iron kept spirits in. See, back in the day, people had the impression that once you died, your spirit followed your coffin until burial. And once buried, you stood at your foot of your grave to which you turned to travel the other sides. The iron bars kept the spirits in, so when you get lost as they waited their turn. Here in New England, a lot of our cemeteries have stone walls around them. If you were to remove the stones from the stone walls, please don't, because it's illegal. You'll find iron chunks placed inside the stone wall, creating the same effect as these iron bars. Here, however, you'll notice that there are no iron bars. They actually put these two columns here for a purpose and a use. Besides, you people who've ever been on my tour before, would anybody like to take a guess on what the purpose and use for these two columns were? Yeah, in the 1800s, no. This is called a death's doorway. A lot of New England cemeteries have something like this. The horse-drawn hearse as well as motorized hearse will pull up because they did use this in 1996 for last coffin burials intended. The pallbearers, people who carry the coffin, would march to this location and then stop, never ever set foot inside the cemetery. They would then lower the front portion of the coffin, resting it on one or both of these stones. With the front portion now rest on the stones, the pallbearers in front could then let go. Walk around the outside of the cemetery till a living entrance, come inside, grab on the coffin and slide it. With the back portion now resting on the stones, pallbearers in back could do the same thing. Rest their portion without setting foot inside the cemetery, let go, walk around the outside cemetery to the living entrance, come inside, grab onto the coffin and proceed to burial. They did this because they said if you entered with the dead, you're going to die that year or have bad luck. Folks, while inside the cemetery, and no running, and I want to welcome you to the second most actively haunted cemetery here on Cape Cod. The first one's Yarmouth Ancient Cemetery. It's the one on the way to Gray's Beach. It's bigger and has more ghost stories, but this is the creepier of the two. And please, anytime you're walking through the cemetery, have your flashlight on, a light source on, pointing in front of you so you can see where you're going. And please, follow me. Oh, and for the ones, it said if you enter with the dead, you're going to die that year or have bad luck. Yep, right over here, guys. Stand right on my light. Yep, this was the spiderweb by Death's Doorway.
Look at that.
Wow.
The size of my chest, this size. So they call moon spiders. They only come out during full moons. Yeah, everybody in front of me like this, like my back's towards the building. Everybody past my arms. Keep on going, keep on going, keep on going. Yep, perfect. Awesome.
Make sure you point them at the ground.
Did we lose anybody? No? Okay, good. Flashlights off, save your batteries. Plus, you got that big headlights helping us. Folks, welcome to Cobbs Hill West Cemetery. As you look around, you notice all different shape and size stones. A stone like this one. Another one in the distance with an urn on it. Another one over there on a family plot. And two more on top of the hill silhouetted against the trees. The official name for these taller stones are called obelisks. If you get frightened, you need to find Death's Doorway. There's a giant white obelisk right before it. Pass by and Death's Doorway's to your left. As you came into the cemetery, you might have noticed the smaller stones and thought to yourself, wow, look at all the children of the poor. That's not the case. Stay right where you are. Think of a cemetery. Think of a cemetery as your final resting place or your final bed. This being your headboard or headstone. This being your footboard or footstone. Bodies are buried in between both these stones. You tell a headstone and footstone go together sometimes by the color of the stones. Other times it's your innate markings on top that match. Half round shoulders and a taper. Half round shoulders and a taper. I am stepping over a 13-year-old girl right now. This giant gray stone is a replica of the brown stone underneath it. These giant stones are purchased by towns for people of notoriety, lawyers, judges, and doctors. But at one time, these giant stones lay flat on the ground above the deceased body, and they started getting a nickname called a wolf stone. Besides the people who've been on my tour before, would anybody like to take a guess on why they nicknamed this giant stone a wolf stone? And no, it had nothing to do with werewolves. I knew you were thinking that. Anybody? Audience participation. Prevent the wolves from digging up the bodies. Great answer. Now, wolves, not being the four-legged furry creatures you just thought, wolves be another name for grave robbers. These people in notoriety, probably wealthy, buried jewels, money, and deeds. These giant tablets of stone would slow down the process of exhuming the bodies. Here in New England, though, these giant wolf stones were cracking into the frost heaves, so he started raising them up off the ground, building walls to represent the church walls. Now the cool thing about this church wall is, we're missing that couple. Huh. Did they go use the restroom? No. We bailed?
They might have, I don't know.
I just realized that, sorry. Now the cool thing about this church wall is there's a brick missing, and you get to read the epitaph or the writing that's on the inside. Stay right where you are. Do you want to help me with this? So if you're looking here, get the bug out of there and the spider webs. You can read the following. I lay here with my hand and my feet in the dirt! There's no writing on the inside. No. What's in there is creepy crawlers, a flashlight of mine, and a watch of mine I've lost over the years of doing that silly trick. And usually I yell really, really, really loud, but I didn't give you guys a pre-warning I was going to do this. And I was going to say to that gentleman, remember how I say I don't put people on my tour to do jump scares? I never said anything about me doing jump scares, so he would have never got my tour company. So, and the reason why I do this is for the giggles. I want people to laugh. I had to tell you a funny story that happened to me. I was doing this silly trick, and I had a woman literally in the hole with me, and I did it really. I usually scream really loud, and she stood up and she goes, "Oh my gosh, I just peed myself," and knocked the hat right off the top of my head. And trust me, I know I deserve every punch and slap I get on my tours. And the reason why I do it, it's for the giggles. I want you to laugh. You're in a haunted. People reported seeing a tall, dark, shadowy figure on a little girl in the cemetery. I interviewed numerous people here in the village, investigated the cemetery, and found it to be haunted. It wasn't until I started bringing my tours in here that people on my tour, as well as myself, started having experiences. One night I had a family of four, a mom and dad and their adult kids. Someone's in his 20s, daughter's about 17. Beginning of the tour, the daughter comes up to me and says, "Derek, I've never seen a ghost. I want to see something." She gets her answer here in the cemetery. Unfortunately, she shows her brother never even asked. Tori's enemy going through death's doorway when all of a sudden I hear a scream. I turn around, here comes the brother holding up his sister physically. She's hyperventilating and crying like she injured herself by the way she was walking. I ran up to her, asked how her ankle was, thinking she tripped over a footstone, not thinking ghost at all. As she runs past me into her mother's arms, crying, I hear the brother say, "She didn't hurt her foot." And when I look at him, his face is drawn and blank. He then told me what happened. He said that both of them were up by the white obelisk, by death's doorway, waiting for everybody to leave the cemetery because they want to get one final picture of the cemetery with nobody in it. As that last person passed, they turned around and took the photograph. And when they turned around and took the photograph, there standing in front of them was this tall, dark, shadowy figure. So dense and so solid, at the time of the year the spotlight on the church is on, illuminating all these headstones, and they couldn't see a one. And that's when they get a pain in their stomach. This evening, as you're walking the cemetery, you get a pain in your stomach. That's a telltale sign he is near you. Stop where you are, shut your flashlight off, and take a good look. There's a good chance you will see him. But if you don't like that feeling, go back the way you came, but keep your ears open, because people have heard footsteps following them as they walked away. Now, on Monday and Friday nights, I do what is called a ghost hunters tour. I hand out digital voice recorders and teach people how to collect voices of the dead. We've had great success here in the cemetery. Now, several years ago, I had two young couples from New York befriend one another on tour and decided to go ghost hunting all together. Mind you, one of the spouses of each couple did not believe in ghosts. They came along for the ride like any good spouse should. For my more daring people on my tonight's tour, the top of the hill up there is where the most physical interactions have happened to people. Well, these four race up there. I go sit on the wall, which I'll be doing in a little bit. Well, all of a sudden I noticed four flashlights streamlined out of the cemetery. First guy coming through death's door, he's a professional bodybuilder, gripping at his hair, can't believe what happened, and his wife. The second guy was a portly fellow. He comes chugging through death's doorway, collapses on the grass right outside death's doorway, short of breath. I run over to him, make sure he was fine. He was fine, just short of breath. He'd gathered his composure, and I helped him back up. Then I asked him what happened. All four of them had an experience on top of that hill. Gentleman with the muscles said they had ended up underneath that tree right there. This one right here with my shadows on. This big one. And right underneath this tree is the Nye family plot. Standing around the third headstone called Crocker Nye. Gentleman with the muscles said he was asking questions when he got a tight in his chest, couldn't breathe anymore. Portly fellow said he was going to turn and look to find out why the guy was talking funny. And that's when he got shoved from behind and fell forward. One of the ladies felt a tickling on the side of the neck, and then it felt like a hand on the side of the neck. But the creepiest one of all was one of the ladies who did not believe in ghosts. She watched all three people have an experience when all of a sudden she felt the hand come and squeeze her on the face, like teaching her a lesson. All four of them quit and sat on the wall with me. But they continued on to jail. Remember, we're going into the old jail after this. Now keep these places in mind. These are places you want to check out, like the top of the hill, the white obelisk. Over here in the far corner, you'll see a giant tree with a black wrought iron fence. That's the Davis family plot. Feel free to go into it, just go to the opposite side and come into it. People go in there have strange internal sensations. I'm not going to tell you what. I had a group in there ask the question, are you happy here? When they played the quarterback, there's a little girl's voice that said, yes, yes, here. Crooked Pine Tree leads down to another family plot. Right there. Group was in that family plot. They asked the question, how old are you? When they played the quarterback, there's a little girl's voice that said, 5. 5. Here, a Barnstable firefighter and his wife were on the tour. They played recorder back, and they were posed a question. In the middle of the record, you hear a man's voice say, is that a gun? A little perplexed until he looked at the fireman's flashlight. And there, he had a big beam flashlight and a big battery pack at the bottom. Kind of looked like a handgun. But my all-time favorite question started years ago. It started underneath those 3 trees. If there's ever a place that dark, shadowy figure standing and watching us right now is from underneath those 3 trees. I had 2 women underneath those 3 trees years ago ask the question, do you like the tours coming through here? Play recorder back, there's a man's voice that said, no.
Can you pound on the wall?
Do you want us here?
Do you mind us being here?
How many of you are here with us?
Do you guys get along?
All right, well, we can listen to that.
Is anybody in here?
Recording. Do you want to say anything? Hi. That's as loud as it gets. Do you guys want to ask a question?
What are their names again?
them. What are your names?
What are your names?
Question?
Can you give us a sign that you're here?
Can you pound on the wall?
Do you want us here?
Do you mind us being here?
How many of you are here with us?
Do you guys get along? Whoa, what was that?
Yeah, what was that?
I don't know.
There's a bunch of static, and static usually means that, like,
Oh, sorry, start it over.
static usually means when there's something that someone doesn't want you to hear, like negative act or like just activity doesn't want you to hear. It's usually static. It's covering something. Can you guys pound on the wall? Give us any sign that you're here.
You can pull Amelia's braids if you want.
Mom!
Not you guys.
These kids want a sign that you're here.
Poke Cash.
No, do not poke me. Cash, you want to get poked. Can you play with someone's hair? Can you touch someone or give us any sign that you're here? Something like that, kind of. That was weird. That's you turning. What? Something like that.
Something pulled on your...
Yeah, it was like that. Can you guys shake the wooden chairs?
What?
Over there.
You can pull Amelia's braids again if you want. If there are any children here, you can come say hello because we've got 4 children here.
Yeah, the first year I was here, something grabbed my ankles when we were in the dark.
Oh. Well, we can maybe go down.
No. Please no. That might actually help because he did say they do more stuff when it's completely dark.
Right.
I'm not. Everyone,
I'm not turning mine off.
Who has a good flashlight?
Not me.
Aim it right here.
Oh,
What's that?
What is that?
big spider.
There's a-
Wait, I have an idea. I'm scared to go in that corner. Can everyone back away? Turn on. Turn yours off. Can one of you turn that flashlight on?
There's a spirit here. We would love to make contact with you, and if you want to, go ahead and turn the flashlight on, and we will all start screaming in your honor.